My name is Clara. I am 32 years old and work as an architect in a bustling city. My career has always been my pride. Designing buildings that blend elegance and functionality gave me a sense of fulfillment. However, the most unexpected designs are often the ones life draws for us. I met Ethan 2 years ago at a colleague's party. His quick wit and warm demeanor instantly drew me in. Over the months, our connection deepened, and I admired his unwavering support for my ambitions. A year after we began dating, Ethan proposed during a quiet evening at home. His words, "Clara, your passion inspires me. I want to be by your side forever," melted my heart. We married on a crisp autumn day, surrounded by family and friends. Our married life started in a charming 2-bedroom apartment overlooking the park. It wasn't extravagant, but it was ours, a cozy haven where we shared our dreams. Ethan worked as a financial analyst, and though his job was demanding, he always made time for us. Our days were filled with laughter and mutual respect. Life seemed perfect. However, perfection can be deceiving. A year into our marriage, my mother's health began to decline. She'd always been my rock, raising me single-handedly after my father's passing. Her vibrant energy dimmed, and the doctors diagnosed her with a chronic heart condition. She needed constant care. When I discussed moving her into our apartment, Ethan was hesitant. "Clara, it's a big step. Our space is small, and my work's been intense lately," he said, his brow furrowed. I understood his concerns, but pleaded, "Ethan, she's my mother. I can't leave her to struggle alone." After days of discussions, he reluctantly agreed. Adjusting to this new dynamic was challenging. My mother's presence changed the rhythm of our lives. She required regular medication, doctor visits, and a diet carefully curated to support her health. While I juggled work and her care, Ethan's patience seemed to wear thin. One evening, as I was preparing dinner, Ethan said, "Clara, this isn't what I signed up for. I feel like a guest in my own home." His words stung, but I tried to empathize. "Ethan, it's temporary. Once Mom stabilizes, we'll find a better arrangement," I reassured him. Weeks turned into months. My mother's condition fluctuated, and though Ethan's demeanor remained polite, the warmth between us began to cool. He started working late, and our conversations grew sparse. I clung to the belief that we were just going through a rough patch, but doubts crept in. One Saturday, Ethan announced he had a work retreat. "It'll be a nice break for both of us," he said with a forced smile. I wished him well, hoping the time apart would reignite our bond. But when he returned, something felt off. He was unusually distant, avoiding eye contact and dismissing my attempts to engage. Late one night, unable to sleep, I noticed his phone blinking with a message. I wasn't one to invade his privacy, but curiosity got the better of me. The text read, "Missed you today. Can't wait to see you again. Lila." My heart sank. Who was Lila? The next morning, I confronted Ethan. "Who is Lila, Ethan? Why is she saying she missed you?" He froze, guilt flashing across his face. "Clara, it's not what you think. She's just a colleague," he stammered. But his hesitation betrayed him. Over the following weeks, I pieced together the truth. Ethan had grown close to Lila during those long work hours he claimed to endure. They'd been meeting outside the office, sharing moments that should have been ours. My world shattered. Despite my anger and hurt, I didn't confront him again immediately. Instead, I sought clarity. I began documenting the changes in his behavior, the late nights, the lies. I needed to be sure before taking any drastic steps. One day, while Ethan was at work, I decided to visit his office unannounced. Pretending I had forgotten something important, I entered and asked his assistant if he was available. "Oh, he's not here. Ethan left early today with Lila for a meeting," she said casually. My suspicions were confirmed. I returned home, feeling a mix of anger and determination. My mother noticed my turmoil. "Clara, you've been so strong for me. Don't let anyone take advantage of your kindness," she said, holding my hand. Her words fortified me. That evening, I told Ethan we needed to talk. "Ethan, I know about Lila. I know you've been seeing her," I said, my voice trembling but firm. He didn't deny it. Instead, he sighed. "Clara, I'm sorry. I felt suffocated. Things changed when your mother moved in." His justification only deepened my hurt. "Ethan, marriage is about weathering storms together, not running away when things get hard," I said. But I knew our bond was irreparably broken. The next few weeks were agonizing. Ethan moved out, claiming he needed time to figure things out. I focused on caring for my mother, finding solace in her unwavering support. Meanwhile, I consulted a lawyer to understand my options. Divorce felt inevitable, but I wanted to protect my mother and myself. One afternoon, while sorting through documents, I stumbled upon a note Ethan had written to Lila. It was tucked inside an envelope in his desk drawer, likely forgotten. The note read, "Lila, being with you feels like freedom. I've never felt so alive." The final nail in the coffin. I confronted Ethan one last time. "I found your note. There's no point in pretending anymore. Let's end this," I said, handing him the divorce papers. He looked at me, perhaps expecting tears, but I was resolute. "Clara, I'm sorry for everything," he muttered, signing the documents. The divorce was finalized quickly. Ethan moved in with Lila, and I moved on, focusing on rebuilding my life. My mother's health improved, and we found a new apartment, a space filled with light and possibilities. Months later, I heard through mutual friends that Ethan and Lila's relationship had soured. Apparently, the freedom he sought wasn't as fulfilling as he'd imagined. But by then, it didn't matter. I was thriving, exploring new opportunities in my career, and cherishing the bond with my mother. One evening, as I sat with my mother, reflecting on the whirlwind my life had been, she placed her hand over mine. "Clara, life often gives us challenges to show us how strong we can be," she said. Her words resonated deeply, and I realized how much I'd grown through this experience. Inspired by her wisdom, I decided to channel my emotions into my work. I began designing a series of buildings dedicated to resilience and renewal. Each structure symbolized a stage of healing, from devastation to rebirth. The project gained recognition, and I was invited to present it at an international conference. At the conference, I met individuals who had overcome their struggles in extraordinary ways. One story, in particular, stood out: a woman who turned her grief into a global initiative supporting mental health. Her resilience reminded me of my journey and reinforced my belief in the power of starting over. As my career flourished, so did my personal growth. I began taking dance classes, a childhood dream I had shelved for years. The rhythmic movements and music became a form of therapy, helping me reconnect with my inner self. I also started volunteering at a local shelter, offering architectural expertise to create safer spaces for women in need. One day, while sketching designs at a park, a stranger approached me. "Excuse me, are you Clara?" he asked. Surprised, I nodded. "I'm Daniel. I read about your project on resilience. Your story is inspiring," he said with genuine admiration. We struck up a conversation, and for the first time in a long while, I felt a spark. Daniel and I began meeting regularly, sharing our stories and aspirations. He was a writer, crafting narratives that celebrated human strength. Our connection grew, built on mutual respect and understanding. Unlike my past, this relationship was grounded in honesty and shared values. As the years went by, my life took on a new rhythm. My mother's health stabilized, and she found joy in gardening and painting. Together, We created a vibrant balcony garden that became our sanctuary. Daniel's support and encouragement became a pillar in my life, and we often collaborated on projects that combined architecture and storytelling. Looking back, I realized that every setback had been a stepping stone toward a brighter future. The pain, betrayal, and challenges had shaped me into a stronger, more compassionate person. I learned to value myself and the people who truly cared for me. Life's unexpected designs, though often painful, can lead to the most beautiful creations. With every new day, I embraced the opportunities to grow, love, and build a life that reflected my resilience and hope. And for that, I was deeply grateful.